Thank you. Okay, good evening, everyone. We're here for a special council meeting tonight. So we are going to jump right into it. Now we've got introductions on the phone or online. It's Councillor Joel Lemoine.
Good evening.
Myself, Chris Ewan, Councillor Janine Belanger.
Good evening.
Councillor Jason Bodnarchuk. Good evening. And our CEO, Mitch DeVal's with us. Good evening. In absence is Councillor Shannon Melcher. So a bit of a different order. We're going to go right to the item that we are here for the special meeting on. And then I will, I guess right now I'll just explain how the public hearing is going to work. So public hearing will be called and then the CEO will take over with a presentation. I will then ask if there's anyone wishing to speak in favor, online or in person or on the phone. That's your time to just unmute your microphone, turn on your camera, or present yourself in person and take the mic. Pardon me. I will then go if there's anyone wishing to speak against in person, online or on the phone. And again, you would do the same thing as speaking in favor. I will then do one last call. If there's anyone wishing to make any general comments, ask any questions, speak in favor or against, online, on the phone, or in person. At that time, after everything's done, I will close the public hearing and the meeting at the same time. That's the big difference, is we don't have many item numbers. There's only one item, so it's just going to be one big agenda item, essentially, or three, I guess. So without further ado, I will go to item 1, public hearing call to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Janine Belanger, second. Councillor Jason Bodnarchuk. Thank you. Do we call for the question right now? Yes, we do. And then any questions before we open or call for the question? Any comments? None. Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. So we are now open. Item 2, presentation for bylaw 9/2024, waste management levy. Take it away, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mayor Ewan. Okay, so hopefully everybody will be able to see the display on the screen here. And I'll start from the beginning. So welcome this evening to our waste management levy bylaw presentation on December 2nd. As
Some feedback here. Okay.
As soon as you switch to the,
there we go. Nope, still there.
just on your
Just turn your volume on.
Just 1 second, everyone.
Let's try this again. All right.
We want to make sure that they can hear us. Councillor Lemoine, can you hear us?
I can, yes.
Thank you.
And you can see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for the past 4 years, bylaw 3/2021 was in place to provide for waste levy situations for both garbage and recycling. At the end of this year, of course, our contracts will be up with our current providers as well as this bylaw. In September of 24, administration sent out proposals that closed on October 18th, and we received for a 3-year contract, and I'll touch base a little bit on that a little bit later on. We received 3 garbage proposals that ranged from $259,000 to $391,000. And we also received 3 recycling proposals that ranged between $363,000 to $460,000. Part of the proposals as well were to purchase extra carts as we need them. And that is pending our growth. The faster we grow, the faster the carts will come in to be delivered. And on November 5th, Council awarded both contracts, the garbage and recycling contract, to Bristol Hauling. So as part of the service delivery, we need to put together what's called an estimated cost of service. So for the garbage and recycling, and we've broken it down for the next 3 years, those costs are from $462,000 in 2025 and going up to $521,000 in 2027. The costs, of course, are estimated on the number of pickups that we currently have as of December 31st of 2024. Just a quick note that recycling is net of any grants that we may get through the WARS program or the multi-stewardship program. So what we need to take in is these amounts for the levy. Stop. All right.
So now
So now we have no screen. Share.
You want one of us to try and share? I'm gonna roll there for a second.
It's doing so good, folks. My apologies. And we're back. Hopefully. There you go. All right. So, so the proposed levy, and these are maximum estimates based on the numbers that we've crunched down. So our current rate right now for single family dwelling sits about $159. The proposed is to drop it to $156 and then increasing it for $10 over the next 3 years. So 166 in 2026 and 176 in 2027. For condos, we're currently sitting at around the 103 mark. Again, it will drop a little bit to 100, 108, and 115. Business carts will be from 280 increasing to 310, 315, and 330. The big one here is the business bins. Anybody with a 4-yard bin or a 6-yard bin, we're looking at increasing that from 538 to 708, 750, and 795. And industrial pickup being the TC Energy complex in Ile des Chênes from 1,500 to 1,500, 1,540, and 1,580. The business bins is just because they are currently being subsidized from all the residential areas. So we're trying to put a little bit more onus on the business portion themselves.
the old-fashioned.
Okay, so on your tax statement, it is reflected as a one-liner on there. So it says bylaw, currently says bylaw 3-2021, garbage and recycling, ending 2024 at 158.78. So if this proceeds, 2025 tax statements will reflect the new bylaw number being 9-2024, garbage and recycling, ending in 2027 at $156 for 2025, and the increases as proposed for 26 and 27. The reason why we are currently going from a 4-year contract to a 3-year contract is that there's a possibility in 2027 that the MMSM, the multi-stewardship, may provide their own recycling program for the whole province, at which time municipalities will have the option to either do their own, as we currently are, or to opt with their option of recycling pickup. But that is still 3 to 4 years down the road. So we want to make sure that we continue providing services to our residents moving forward. So again, just What's different from the past 4 years and reminders? There's really nothing much different than the past 4 years, just that we have a new provider. The rural areas will still continue to have a manual service, so bags or cans, it doesn't really matter. The urban areas continue to have their 65-gallon garbage cart, which is brown, and a 65-gallon recycling cart that is blue. Some may have the 91-gallon green recycling carts, just because they recycle more than what they could fit into a 65 blue cart, sorry. Urban areas still include the Grand Point, Saint Agathe, Saint Adolphe, and Ile-des-Chênes area. And again, a reminder that it is a household program. Only items that fit in the cart will be picked up. So no, you can't put your couch in your cart type of thing. Businesses can either have carts or bins for garbage recycling. The rule of thumb is that if a business could get away with 4 carts for either garbage and recycling, then we'll go with the carts. At that point, if they produce more than a bin, a 4-yard bin or a 6-yard bin will be recommended for those folks. Again, we're going to continue on providing a spring and fall collection for those couches and whatever else you want to throw at the curb. We will continue to run a grass clipping program for the urban areas, and that would be for lots that are 2 acres or less in size. We're looking at running that again from mid-April to late October, pending the seasons, how things go. Those grass clipping program would be a bi-weekly for about 14 pickups throughout the year, and absolutely no pickup for rural areas or parcels that are bigger than 2 acres, because then there's an abundance of bags at the curb. Again, this costs is through our general reserve and not part of what we are talking about tonight. So it's more of an information more than anything else. As with all special services or local improvements, the public can participate in the public hearing, which is why we are having one tonight. If you feel that the plan is insufficient or costs too much or whatever the reasoning, you may object. And the Municipal Act states how you could do those objections. Moving forward, our next steps, once the slide goes to the next steps, is that pending, of course, the number of objections, council can proceed with readings of the special services bylaw. We then put a package together with objections if we receive them and send them to the municipal board. Municipal board needs to stamp this as approved before council could give it 3rd reading and become part of the taxes that we mail out in the spring. Now, the municipal board may hold another public hearing if the objections are 25 objections or 10% of the affected areas are received. They can render decisions, so they'll either support, amend, or actually deny the application from the municipality. And then if they support or amend, council could then proceed with 2nd reading of the bylaw and 3rd reading of the bylaw as well. So short and sweet presentation. If there are any questions, I will open it up to the floor or to anybody who wishes to speak.
CEO, is there anyone that wishes to ask any general comments or questions? I see one from Mrs. Lees Bale. Go ahead.
Unmute yourself.
Hi.
Go ahead.
So my question is, the levies that are raised from the residents, are those applied directly to the cost of what it costs for Bristol to do the pickup? Is that like going to be a zero balance at the end, or how does that work?
Good question. Basically, the rates that I've proposed tonight is to have a net zero effect with the cost of the service. Okay. So we're hoping that the whole sum that we collect will offset the cost of the collection, but not the grass clippings nor the twice a year curb pickups. That is a separate pot of funds.
Okay, just another question that's kind of related, but it, I guess, doesn't necessarily apply to the bylaw itself. Is the money that's collected from, say, people from outside the municipality that are dumping into our facilities, what happens to that money? What is that used for?
Okay, so anybody that would go directly to the landfill becomes basically operational funds for the partnership that we have with GFL, which is the landfill that the municipality owns along with GFL. So that goes towards the operation of the landfill. Any proceeds from there are then returned at a percentage base back to the municipality and back to GFL.
Is it like 50-50 or?
The percentage there is 63 RECHOT, 37 GFL.
Okay. And people who are from outside the municipality, like I know, like if we had stuff to bring to the dump, it costs like $5 because we're residents. People from the outside, how much do they pay?
Okay, so people from the outside really, depending what they're bringing, if it's residential waste, we're not accepting it. The landfill is only for RECHOT residential waste.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's dry goods, then it falls as a commercial venture. And those, I believe, is at $81 a ton.
Okay. Okay. The other question, I guess, and this is more related to, well, I guess what the residents of Ile-des-Chênes are getting for their dollar, because I mean, garbage service is just that, it's just garbage service, it's for pickup. But the residents of Ile-des-Chênes have to live with not only the unsightliness of a dump, because it's a big pile, and plus the garbage, there's no barrier there, so all the garbage flies into our yards because the prevailing winds come from the west, so it goes directly into town. And we actually live right across from the dump, so we get quite a bit in our property. But the worst part in kind of the last couple of years has been the odor. The stench from the dump has been just atrocious, and it's like almost every day. So our concern there, one is because of the nature of our business, like because we're in tourism, it doesn't really promote tourism to have a garbage dump smelling like that. But also as residents, like if you're having a barbecue in your yard in the summer, like it's not very appealing when it smells like dump. So our question, I guess, would be, what do the residents of Ile-des-Chênes get for having the dump right there?
I think that's a bigger picture question that doesn't really relate to the rates themselves, but I would have to say that it's a convenience to have a landfill within your own RM, and we are generating significant amount of dollars with the partnership that we currently have with GFL. It then provides administration and council to be able to tackle a variety of projects that may not be affordable and not the need to tax the residents, the ratepayers of RECHOT in order to make those projects happen.
Yeah.
So
Well, my thought on that is that maybe some of those funds generated could go towards fixing some of this issue, like adding barriers, trees to kind of absorb the smell, like some of that kind of stuff.
totally agree, Lise, with you. I know that we have been working a little more closely with the manager at the landfill. Whenever there are excess amount of garbage that are spilling outside of the boundaries, please let us know when that happens, because if
Yeah.
nothing gets reported to the office, we don't know about it, we can't take care of it. But when we do get those calls, the general manager is pretty much right on top of things and will get that done. As
Yeah.
far as the orders go, I think that stems back from a decision that was made a little while ago, an unfortunate decision that had to be made at the time. But now we are currently not accepting any outside municipal residential waste. And that's where the orders come from, is from the residential waste portion.
So is there any thought that it's going to be going away? Is there a way to appease this, that we're not going to get this smell? Because it is awful, like really awful. And well, I don't know if Chris, you live in the area. I'm sure you've smelt it.
Yeah, I know that Councillor Pelletier has been looking at what steps can be taken. I think it's called leachate is the issue. Yeah, leachate is the issue. So they're looking at how to remedy that. But I haven't talked to Councillor Pelletier about it in probably 3 weeks. So maybe I'll get him to reach out to you, Lise, to see where they're at with next steps.
We would appreciate that. Especially that we're
Lise,
paying like some high amounts for just our garbage pickup, and now we have to live with the smell.
So Lise, just for public records, are you objecting to the proposal or just concerns?
Well, I find the rate pretty high for business. We're a small business. That's a lot of money, $700. So I do have a concern that it's a tad high. But I do also, I know it costs something to get pickup. I'm not sure that I agree with the price.
It's an objection.
And I wonder, well, I also wonder, like, maybe some of the money that's, for the garbage that's coming from outside the municipality, can that not subsidize some of the garbage pickup for the residents?
I guess it could. It would have to be a decision of council as to how they want to allocate those funds that are made available.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Lise, and I don't disagree, but I also don't agree fully, because at the end of each, let's call it fiscal year or something, we can review how much money's been brought in. And I say we take advantage of that in terms of growth of the municipality. We see how can we allocate those funds, be it adding it to a different reserve so that the fire reserve might be topped up a little bit, or general reserve might be topped up a little. So there's always more money available. So when council wants to do something as a whole for the municipality, we have that ability with those funds. Now taking those funds and maybe reallocating it is something we can look at. When Shane reaches out to you or something and you can give them some ideas, I'm not opposed to investigating that option for sure.
Yeah, it's really, the rate is really high, and that was my concern.
So so I just want to be clear. So are you objecting officially to that? Mitch has to just write it down.
Yeah, I would
Are you
say,
just concerned with it?
I would be against raising the rate that high for business.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Go ahead, Bruce. Bill, yeah.
Hey, good evening. I was just listening to my wife there, and just to add, I know you disagree, but when the municipality is, like, Ile des Chênes is actually looking at this monstrosity that we built, I believe that more funds should be allocated, not necessarily even towards garbage, but Ile des Chênes itself should see something from the revenue of this business. Right? Like, I get the whole municipality has to get the tax out of it, a little bit of income coming their way. But I mean, we have to live with this. So I mean, I'm against the tax hike as well, just because we're the ones that are staring it right in the face. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anything else, Bruce?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak online, on the phone, in person? Was there anything we received?
Nothing received. We did, unfortunately, we did send the notices out a week before the mail strike. So people did have a chance to at least, they were delivered. Whether you choose to go to your mailbox or not is your own call, but they were delivered in time and prior to the requirements of the 21 days for the public hearing. We did get questions at the office, so I'm sure it was communicated out there as best as we could due to the mail strike. Another reason why, and I'll put a little plug here, to sign up for our Connect feature. That way we can send communication blasts to residents regarding these types of hearings during these strike times. So.
Okay, thank you. Any last call for any final comments, questions to speak in favor or against? Online, on the phone, or in person? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and the meeting at the same time because this is a special meeting. Do I have a mover? Sorry. Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Bodenchuk. We have to debate with council right now, or is that not till the next readings?
Basically, you
That would be a.
serve the public's opinion.
Thank you. Perfect. So, do I have to call for the question?
Yes.
Okay, I'll call for the question to close the meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That's carried. I'll close the meeting at 7:28 PM. And the hearing as well. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you logging on. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.